delivered from the occult, of had encounters with Jesus and shared of how Jesus delivered them. And I've heard many of these sort of testimonies. However, this one we're about to hear, in my opinion, is one of the most intense and deep I've come across. And I believe God's going to use this testimony to impact you in a significant way. So I want you to stay tuned. Now, our guest today, we actually had to fly him all the way from Uganda to capture this testimony. Because when I heard this many years ago, I was so impacted. I got connected with him and we've been relating for a few years. And the Lord made it possible for us to be able to get him over to Manchester. So for the first time, it's his first time in the UK. And I'm excited that we're going to get to hear from him today. So would you welcome with me, James Kawaly from Uganda. James, it's good to have you in Manchester.
Amen. I thank God that I'm here. And this is my first time to be in the UK. And the timing of the Lord is the best. I know this is the first time also I'm recording my testimony in its fullest. Must have been sharing in different platforms, but this is the first time I'm sitting in a recording to share my life testimony. So I thank God for this opportunity. And oftentimes when I'm sharing my testimony, it's like I'm going back through those experiences. I need a grace. Sometimes the pain returns, the pain of the thing that I went through. But I thank God that now, after many years now, it's 23 years since I gave my life to Jesus Christ.
Wow.
And the 23 years has been amazing. I have seen the goodness of God. And also, as we start this journey, I want to tell the people that the purpose is to glorify Jesus. Not the devil, not what the devil can do or what he has done. But at the end of the day, Jesus is the winner.
Yeah.
So that's why. So I'm glad that I'm here.
I'm so excited to have you here in Manchester because as we go into the details of your testimony, I'm going to be asking you questions about, things that have happened in your past. And as you share them, there'll be things that, I'm sure lots of people may not even understand because we have lots of people watching. People from African backgrounds may be able to relate. Some of you watching are from Western backgrounds and you might not understand some of the depth of the occult. In fact, some of these things will blow your mind when you hear, the depth to which people engage in dark activities. But I know, just as James said, God is going to use this to glorify his name. And I also want to point this out before we get into this testimony, that right now you're a pastor. You lead a church in Uganda and you're used in incredible ways by God in deliverance ministry, miracles and God moving. In fact, primarily you're an intercessor. You're used in strategic. Do you just want to just give us an idea of some of the things you do right now?
I am leading a ministry called Lifeway Institute of Deliverance. What we do and what God has called me to do is to strategically train intercessors to pray and take over territories for God. So mostly I'm not pastoring the church, though I started the church. We are having other pastors pastoring the church. We also running a Christian television station in Uganda, Worship Television, just for worship and prayer. One of the things the Lord told me to do after encountering Jesus and seeing the power of prayer. By the way, I knew the power of prayer before I became born again. I kept encountering people praying and wondering what kind of lives are they. One example, maybe to bring it out, is I was still in the occult and I was in the city in Kampala. And I remember I got instruction from our leaders to vacate the city and stay away 70 miles away from the city and remove all our operations because a man of God was coming in the city. And I remember we were told that if we stay in the city where that man is, his prayer would kill us, all convert us. And I remember the instruction was stay out of the city 70 miles away.
Wow.
But also do not enter the city even 21 days
after
he has left. So I was still in the occult and I was like, what kind of power is this? Because I knew the power. I knew Satan. I knew I had been all in these kind of powers. But then we were being warned not be around that man's, where he is in the city. That man was Maurice Cerullo. So he was coming in the city. And I remember we were told, stay out of the city 70 miles away and do not enter the city another 21 days.
Incredible.
Because even after 21 days, his power, the effect of his power remains in the atmosphere after 21 days he has been in the city. So I knew the power of prayer. So when I came to Christ, the Lord was telling me, okay, you have seen the mistakes, the errors, because one of the work I was doing before I came to Christ was fighting churches and breaking churches. And the Lord was saying, now, you know how you broke these churches, and you know what were the errors and the mistakes and the weaknesses. So can you train an army of intercessors all over the world to bring out, to stand and take territories?
Wow.
So we are working with nations like Sri Lanka. We will have work in Sri Lanka. I work in Singapore. I work in Botswana. I work in Gabon. And a few places where I've been doing.
You've been in Europe to a few places as well.
We're having a work in Munich. We're doing a great work in Munich to raise intercessors and train young people to intercede, and then they take over the nations in prayer. So one of my calling, people call me apostle or as pastor, but my call is an intercessor. That's
Amen.
So I don't know if you can call me intercessor, James.
I like that. I like that. So now let's go back to the beginning. What are the earliest memories you have?
My memory, when I was around 3 years, I realized in my home I was living with my mom and my uncle, the brother to my mom, and no one else. And it was strange because I was wondering why other people don't come to our home. Later I realized that when I was 3 months old, my father and my sisters left the home and did not return because of the strange things that were happening in the house, in the home. Now, I don't know what happened, the strange things. I didn't see unless when my mother told me my story. But when I was 3 years, the event that I can remember is the death of my uncle. And when I began now my initiation into witchcraft, when I was 3 years.
I want us to come back to the death of your uncle, but before we come back to that, can you tell us what happened before you were born? Because this is really critical part of understanding your journey. Give us an idea of what was going on with your mom and a marriage and her desperation to have a son that laid the foundation for you to come into this world.
So I came to hear this story when I was around 12 years, to hear the story of my birth and why I was strange. Now, by the age of 12, I was already deep in the occult. I'd been made a trainer of witches when I was the age of 9. At the age of 7, I was a territorial witch in charge of a territory. I had strange powers. People older than my mother could come and bow to me. Politicians, businessmen, for powers. So I kept wondering, where did I get all these powers? Where am I strange? But my mother kept taking me to different witch doctors for help, to be delivered from those powers. But several times we could go to these places, to the witch doctors, and the witch doctors could chase my mother away, claiming that when she takes me to them, I steal their powers. So like even the witches, the sorcerers, the diviners, even they hated me because they were, this baby has strange powers. So my mother decided to take me to a man in Pemba. Pemba is in Tanzania, in the Indian Ocean, who was called a sultan. So in this journey, she said, I'm going to take you to this man, and this man is going to help you. So that's when I asked. I remember we were in Dar es Salaam. We were on the port trying to get a ferry to go to Pemba. And I asked her, but Mom, tell me something. Why am I strange? And I could see when I remember I looked at my mother, and like this time she was desperate to tell me and say, please, can you not interfere with where we're going? Can we, please don't interfere. So like to convince me not to interfere, my powers, the power I had as a boy, for where we're going. So she had to tell me the story of my life. How she ended up in this. So this is what she tells me. She says, when she got married the reason she married my father, because her father had died, and her father was a rich chief, and she was the only daughter, and she had a brother, my uncle then. And when her father died, she says she knew the family in Africa. Most times the family would take over every property. So she needed protection. So by the grace of God, she says, at the time when her father died and she's desperate, she's just a young lady, then my father started dating her. My father, coming from a prominent family, a very known family and very strong, she thought this man, if he marries her, she'll get protection. So she gets into the family. Now, my father also was marrying her because he had been told he needed to find a young girl, marry early, and get as many children as possible. Because my father, being a son of a chief, son of like a prime minister, he was the only son. The brother had died. He had 7 sisters, the only son. So they were like, now you need to get a woman, get children, and raise a heir for the throne, like the chiefdom. So he marries for the purpose of getting a son. So when she married, my father and my mother, they married, she gave birth. The first child was a girl. The second child, also a girl. The third child, also a girl. Now, by the 4th child, the entire family, the chiefs, the tribe, they're all like, this woman is a waste. Because in my tribe, if you have only girls, they say you don't have children.
Wow.
So they wanted a heir. So in desperation, she tried to, she went different witch doctors in different parts of the nation. And so she went, they told her, we're going to help you conceive. Then she conceived the 5th child, who was now also a girl. She went on different witch doctors, different altars, different plans. And also she conceived again, the 6th child, also a girl. Wow. And she tells me that she was so desperate because she knew if she can't get a son, she will lose the marriage. And now her life will be wasted. Though at that time, she told me that someone told her that there is someone who can help her conceive a son. She had gone to all kinds of altars in Uganda and outside Uganda. She had traveled different parts and gave different sacrifices. She had the money. She could sell her properties to travel different places to help her conceive. So on this particular journey where she went, she was told to go to a forest in Tanzania. There's a place in Tanzania, northern Tanzania. There was a place. So she went there and she realized that when she arrived at the place, they told her she had to undress and live in the forest for 7 days, going through cleansing.
Wow.
Before she appears before the person to help her. Now, before there's something I want us to note here, that was the kingdom of darkness. But they understand the principle of consecration and cleansing.
Yeah.
Now I understand after that. So they tell her you have to undress, stay in the forest, cold, don't eat anything cooked for 7 days. So after the 7 days, you are clean enough to appear before this priest who was going to help her. So she says when she appeared after 7 days, that this priest was a woman who always lived in the forest. And she was like the chief witch of the entire continent, because all the witch doctors.
I mean, the entire country
of Africa, not continent.
Wait, she was the chief witch of the entire continent of Africa.
Of Africa.
Wow.
So all the witches, or the wizards, or the sorcerers, or the politicians, the leaders could go to her for powers. So she lived in the forest, that woman, that priest, and she had only one breast, like one breast in the middle of the chest.
So all the people that went to her to see her often went through similar rituals. They have to stay in the forest for 7 days,
naked,
eating leaves and
fruits for 7 days. Wow. And then after 7 days, you appear before her. That was the ritual, and it was like everyone had to go through that. So there were many people there. So she said when she appeared, when she came to her, she looked at that witch, that priest looked at my mother, and said, "Go away. I will not help you." So she has been in the forest for 7 days. And now she's walking away. She says this. Now, this is what she told me. She said, as she was going away, she looked in the sky and saw a sign, something that told her that she has a son. She doesn't know at all. So she walks back to the place where they register. And she tells them, please, I want to go and try again. Then they tell her, but also, if you try again, you have to go again through another 7 days. Wow. Now, the 7 days she went through, and then she went another 7 days, that's 14 days. Later, I'll be sharing with you, when I was sick, my deliverance, I had to go through the same cycle of being delivered. The 7 days and another 7 days, but now in the church setting. Because I want to tell people that salvation is free, but deliverance is a price. A price of consecration and being set apart. So she says that, so the second time, the next 7 days, she goes to appear. And when the priestess saw her, said, you are back. You are back. Then my mother tells me, said, okay, I'm back, but you need to help me. Then this woman looks at her and says, well, I can help you, but I can see. Now, I don't know what eye they were using. I can see in the spirit you have a son, but he's very far in the rocks.
It's very far in the rock.
In the rocks. Now, that's the statement of my mother. He's far in the rocks, and there is a strange star on him. If I bring him out, he will be a problem to our powers. The only thing I can do, if you can offer sacrifices, but also if you can accept the condition we shall give you. So my mother asked, what sacrifice? They told I have to give 7 cows for 9 months. That is 63 cows as a sacrifice. Then say, okay, I'll do that. You know, because she was desperate and she had the means. Then they tell, okay.
7 cows every month for 9 months.
For 9 months. That is 63. So then the other condition was, okay, if you conceive and give birth, and this is a boy, you promise you will offer him to that woman, the princess, as a husband. She didn't know what it means. She didn't know what it meant. First telling me she didn't know that it was that. And then they told her that, okay, when you give birth, you must bring that child to the forest before the end of the first day. In other words, before the sun goes over him. She tells me she didn't know what was involved in. So she left, offered the sacrifice, returned home, she conceived. To her surprise, she gave birth to a boy. Now, the vow was to carry that boy from the city where she gave birth to the forest around 300 and maybe 400 kilometers away from the city. And that is 1975. The transport means was not that good. I don't know how she traveled. So she travels from the city in Kampala to go to fulfill the vow. What shocked her, she tells me, when she arrived at the forest, this time it was not, she didn't go through the ritual, but there was like a wedding. Hundreds of people were gathered. They knew she was coming. Gathered for what? And she realized it was now going to be the wedding of her 1-day-old son and the 60-year-old woman.
So for those of you watching, I don't know if you understand what he's just said. On the day he was born, on the day you were born, you were married to a
60-year-old witch.
A 60-year-old witch that was the Grand Master Witch for the continent of Africa. That is mind-blowing.
And you know, what she told me, the wedding was conducted by the witches of the continent first, and then the bishop of the diocese also came and conducted the wedding between this 1-day-old boy and a 60-year-old woman in the forest.
Wow.
So, that was also when she told me, say, are you sure? I said, yes. Bishop so-and-so, which I knew. Later I'll share how he got involved in my life. And now he moved me from that same bishop, from the witchcraft to the occult, because they are different. So for her, when she reached there were all these people, the celebrations from different parts of the continent had come to the forest for the wedding. Now, according to her, that was the moment where this woman, the witch, was to transfer her powers to the boy, the 1-day-old boy. Now, I was 1 day old. I didn't know what was happening. So after the ritual, after the ceremony, days of celebration and what, the wedding, the marriage is conducted, the covenant and all the sacrifices. So they tell her, you know what? Now, this child is not just a child. This is now a man. So you're not going to breastfeed him because now he is somebody's husband already.
Wow.
And she told me that in her mind, she said, well, okay, I'll go home. These people will not be there. I have to breastfeed my child. You know, I've suffered a lot. I've paid the price. I have done all this. Like he was treasuring this child. So she returns home. When she went home, my father said, where have you been? He said, okay, I had all this and this.
So did your father not know what she was doing?
He didn't know.
He did not know.
He didn't know. Because when she left hospital, she just went to the... So my father, where's my wife? She's looking around. So when she appeared, so where have you been?
So he had no idea that she was this deep in her passion to find a boy or to get a son.
He didn't. The only thing he knew, my mother could disappear for days and you know where he has gone. So when she returned home, she says, I was a baby. She put me in the baby cot in the bed, then go dress up, clean up, and then come and breastfeed the child. And when she returned, she found a python coiled around the baby. Yeah, python.
Yeah.
And she says she could not come near because of the python. So she ran out. The people of the village came around. My father came around. They could see the snake, and no one could come in.
Could they not kill the snake?
I don't know why. So she says for 30 days, for 3 months, she could not come near me.
So was the python wrapped around you every day, all day, 24/7?
24/7. So she says she didn't breastfeed me. She didn't come near me. The whole village could come and just peep in. And then there was rumors around that this woman gave birth to a child and a snake. Now, I heard those rumors when I was growing up. It was the talk of the town in their community. You know, that child is a twin. They could say, he's a twin. He was born with a snake. But my mother says, no, she didn't give birth to a snake. The snake just came when she came back to the house. Now, I don't understand how this was done. So after 3 months, my father left. Now, he picked the 6 girls and left the home. She remained alone. And because of that, my mother got a mental breakdown. So she was not like a mad woman in the community. So she's left alone with a child, a demon child, with a brother who was living with her. Now the husband, my father, and the children left, so she's deserted. So by the time I'm three years old, the only person I know is my uncle and my mother, who has no attachment with me. Why? She's mentally disturbed. She always spend all her time alone in the bedroom. There's no way. So as a child, I didn't have any attachment with her. I didn't see my sisters. I didn't meet my father. The only person now I know is my uncle, the young brother to my mother, who was also, I don't know what happened. He was also addicted to alcohol. So he could drink and what. Now, so he tells me, I remember as the other 3, when he was drinking his alcohol, he could give me, because that's the only thing he had. My mother did not breastfeed me. The husband had left, deserted her. And she tells me that the day my father left, and with my sisters, is the day the snake left also. So when he left, also it left. So she remained with this child. But now she was so hurt. She was so heartbroken. And then she got into a mental breakdown because of the husband leaving her. She's alone. And so as a child, I'm in that house with only my uncle. Like all the community, the relatives, the people in the community, no one comes to our home, because the talk of the community, the talk of the village is, in that house,
it's a snake.
There's a snake.
Yeah.
And there is a boy who was born So
So you had no connection with anyone else apart from your mother, who was mentally unstable, and your uncle was, a drunkard who was is struggling with alcohol addiction.
addiction.
And then you're three at this point.
Yeah.
Your earliest memories are around 3 and 4.
3 and 4. That's the memory I have.
And then something really tragic happened.
So the only person I know is my uncle. And one day we are staying in a small room with him. I remember I was 2 and 4. I have this memory. And then someone hit the door, opened it, and my uncle came running. And then these 5 guys, they were soldiers. By that time, the nation was in a civil war. So they came into the house. I don't know why. They came chase my uncle. Then they shot him. But what surprised me that they didn't kill him. They shot him 5 times and watched him bleed. Like I'm sitting there, and they shoot, wait, they shoot, wait, they shoot, wait, wow. They shoot, wait, they shoot, wait. And then they deliberately, I remember they are shooting in parts that will not kill him instantly. So then I see these men are standing there in the room and they're watching him, and he's bleeding and bleeding slowly.
And they saw you there.
Yes, they made sure that I'm there. So they bring me near him. They shoot him when I'm near him, and they watch his bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, and I saw him die. So like he bled for like 2 hours. They're there watching, and when like he stopped like groaning and crying, and then he slowly died, and that way I blacked out. So when I blacked out, when I woke up the next morning, the people in the community had come around to see what happened. I realized I'd become a different person. I realized by that time something had left the human, like I was not human. From that time until I got born again at 24, my greatest joy was to cause misery. I was a sadist. I enjoyed causing trouble, killing. I enjoyed like seeing people suffer, and that could bring me joy. But I can trace that happened the day my uncle. Like now I've understood after I became a Christian, when I was going through my healing, because I got saved, but the healing took time. It took like 10 years to be healed. My healing, especially deliverance and healing, took 10 years because parts of my life were fragmented. See,
so a part of your soul.
Now I later understood that at that moment a part of my soul was trapped, and later I realized that after I got married, because when I got married I could not relate with my wife as husband and wife.
Wow.
So I went in prayer, and then the Lord took me to that moment when I was 3 years and showed me when I blacked out what happened. Because God is all-knowing. Jesus is all-knowing. So to deliver me, he had to show me what happened when I blacked out, what happened to my soul, where was I trapped. So when I got married, I married when I was 36, very late. So I was a 36-year-old man, but my soul was 3 years. So I remained trapped at 3 years. But now I was a man with a body, even born again now, got married, but I could not relate with my wife as husband because I had been...
Yeah, because of that trauma.
That trauma. So when that happened, my uncle was dead, and I became a different person. Those people in the occult came to my mind and say, you know what has happened to your brother? It's because we want this boy. You have to give her now officially to us. You have to surrender him to us. So she tells me, but now this one I remember it. She got me, and there is a place where this the headquarters of the occult in our nation. It's like a cave. They said it's like a cult, as if they believe in God but not God. They don't believe in the Bible. It's like a cult where politicians go and even religious leaders. So she takes me to this place. This place, like it's a cult, it's like a religion. Now, when their leaders die, they don't bury them. They embalm the bodies and pile them in a cave, the dead bodies. So she took me and handed me over to those people. Now, Remember, my uncle is dead. I have this pain. And now the only person I know now remaining is my mother. So she hands me over to these people who I don't know. They get me. Now, remember, I have the trump, just lost my uncle. Put me in a cave with dead bodies, lock it for 3 days and 3 nights without food, without water.
And how old are you at this point?
Now towards 4.
You
It's just a few weeks from the death of my uncle.
wow.
So now I remember the pain and the betrayal I felt as a child, that now my only mother, the one who I thought would protect me, has handed me over to these people who have now locked me in a cave with dead bodies, pitch dark, day for 3 days, hungry without food. Now, so what happened in that cave? It's the things I saw inside there those 3 days. Like the spirits, Lucifer, the demons could come and talk to me. Serpents could come into my body. All kinds of things were done on my body. So it was in being initiated into deep occultism and witchcraft, like every part of my body. Now, that's the first time I am knowing about the snake, which now Mama tell me, which came at birth. Now remember, it came around me, coiled around me in the cave, and entered my body.
Wait, physically or spiritually?
Physically. And all my life until I got born again, it lived in my body. I could know when it's moving. I could know, like, you could tell something is moving in the body. It's like now the spirit in this snake took over, and now it could control me. Now, from that time on, say this, until the day I got born again, all my life I was in pain. There's no day I remember I was not in pain until the day I gave my life to Jesus for 24 years. Every day, that pain was there in my body. All because that thing had to keep me in pain in order to use me. Because if Satan controls you through pain, because it has to manipulate you to control you. So it had to keep in my body. I could not eat well. I could not live well. So the only way I could avoid pain is to be drinking. So I began drink alcohol, and I became addicted to alcohol, because that's the only way I could now kill
Numb
that
the
pain.
pain,
Numb the pain.
Now, that's a powerful thing you said. Satan controls you through pain. There's so many people that, have come into the trap of the enemy because of bitterness and all sorts of things that have happened in their past that have not been resolved through the cross and accepting Jesus. In fact, they may have accepted Jesus, but they've not allowed him to bring healing, and they've not forgiven. But that's an access point for control of the enemy.
Yeah, because it controls the pain. And also, you can give your life to Jesus Christ, but you need, first of all, deliverance, and you need also healing to restore your soul. Because if you've given yourself to the enemy, the first thing he will fragment your soul and keep all different parts of your soul in different prisons. The bitterness, anger, unforgiveness, guilt, hatred, traumas, all these. Now, each one of them is like a print on your life, and now has given you a false identity and personality, which is not you. So you have the identity and the personality of the demons that are now residing in those pits where the pain is. So I have the pain. I hate my mother, and I hate everyone. I don't know my father. So the enemy, every time is to use me, is to remind me that humans are bad. You have to kill them. You have to do this. They are evil. They are bad. They hate you. I don't have. Remember, there's no emotional attachment. Because as a child is growing up, the love you get from your parents is what now grows in you. So now, because there was not that, emotionally, I didn't have I was emotionally trapped. I didn't understand what's love, what's fear. I never cried. I never laughed.
Wow.
Because I didn't understand this. You see?
So now you go through this deep ritual. 3 days is completed. You come out, and what happens? People are worshiping you.
When I come out, what surprised me, hundreds of people are waiting for me. So they come out and they're worshiping. Like I'm like a god. They're bowing and worshiping.
And you're 4 years old.
I'm 4 years old. So I said, what's going on? Now my mother has no access to me, has no authority over me. Because now, that's when I know. Now I've been initiated and ordained as a witch. So from that time, there's a part of me that's human. I want to be a child. But then the people treat me like a power. You know, you want to play, but no one comes next to you. First of all, no parent will allow their child to come near you. You see? Two, you were busy. You know, people could come every day and night for help, to get powers, to get what. Then some of them are as old. One of the things that I so painful, even I remember right now and read it. It had a lot of the people as older than my mother could come and they have to undress to be naked before me, women, and then you have to give them powers. Now, if a 4-year-old you're exposed to such, that affects your life. And like, even today, like it affected my life until Jesus healed me. You know, like you're seeing naked women and naked men. You are a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old. That affects you, the way you look at people, the way you think, the way. So what Satan does is to abuse, you see when people abuse children, people think it's just lust. Sometimes in initiation. They're initiating them. When they expose them to pornography, when they expose them to all these things, like men and who abuse children, like, and in my ministry, I found that many people who are struggling to be healed and delivered, it happened, their exposure was in childhood, between 1 and 6. Those were sexual abuse, those were molested by teachers, parents, siblings, and all. And it is a gate the enemy uses to trap the soul. So mine was trapped. But okay, the killing of my uncle, trauma, trapped me.
Yeah.
Then the betrayal of my mom trapped me. But then the years of being exposed to such things, like you, women and men, come to you every day, have to undress, sit naked before you.
So at this point, where are you living? Are you just living in the forest somewhere? Are you with your mom still?
And now the home where I'm living, my father left. It's like now a hospital. It's like
Oh, so at this point, you'll go back home and lots of people are now visiting your house.
Because the other woman, her powers have been transferred now. So they know where they called me the baby. They called me the baby witch, where the baby witch is. So they can come for powers, for what and what. And I will say this, sometimes I fear to say, but I will say, even some people in church circles could come to
Pastors
and bishops. Some of them could come to me for powers in their so-called ministries. And so when I got born again, the Lord, actually the Lord led me to most of them who are still alive and could say, you remember what you are doing, and you need to confess it, to repent and turn away. And
Did they listen?
Many could say, I have the name, the big congregation. I can't. People will run away from me. And I tell you, I'm going to expose you. But the Lord told me now, expose them will not help.
You said you told them you were going to expose them.
I'm going to expose them. But the Lord told me exposing them will not help. What will help is them to repent. But for years I feared. I knew how dangerous it was until 2016 when I shared my testimony. I had never shared my testimony until 20. What you heard, it was my first time sharing my life story.
Yeah. So just for breaking in the story here. So I got you the testimony you shared at Africam. I got it maybe somewhere around 2017. Someone was there that heard the testimony and then gave me the CD, and I've lost it now. But I remember being so marked, not by this part of the story, but there's some.
Where we're going.
And it was connected with intercessory prayer. I was so marked. And then as God will have it, I knew someone that knew you. And then they connected us, and here we are today. But this is just incredible to just hear how you were so deep in the occult and how you were helping even men who were serving God, in quotes, but using demonic powers at 4, at 5. The wisdom you were dispensing to them, was it just flowing through you without you even aware where you got it from?
I don't know where it was coming from.
So you're just giving instructions and directions, and
because at that time when I left that place, that cave, the spirit world and the natural world could be before me 24 hours. I could see them like I'm looking at you. So I could know people's past. I could know where they're coming from, and I could know what is done in secret. I could know who will be the leader, who will be the president, what will be done, who needs to, and all that. So Everything was bare. I could see. In fact, it's when I got born again that the Lord cut that because it was not God.
Yeah.
He had to cut that. And many people, when they get born again, who have been the occult, they don't want to let go that. So they confess Jesus, but still
Hold on to those powers.
because the powers, they have their advantages and what they think advantages. So the Lord had to lead me into years of deliverance to cut off that.
Now we're gonna touch the deliverance at some point, because that's a huge thing. Because many Christians don't believe deliverance is something that you need to have as a Christian. We'll deal with that later. So at this point, you're 6, you're 7, you're 8.
So I am 6, I am 4. Now I'm doing that. When I'm 7, I am made a territorial witch.
Explain to us what that means.
In the occult, the king of darkness, it's about territories, as the church should have been. Now, each one has a territory, and in that territory, you have like maybe 5,000 or 7,000 witches in a certain territory who are submitting to your powers and to your altars. So you are like in charge of a territory. So I was in charge of southern Uganda and northern Tanzania. So like that was a region which is called the Kagera Katonga region. Kagera is a river. So they divide the nations by rivers or by mountains. So say from this river to this river is your territory. So I'm made in charge of that territory when I'm 7, the youngest.
7.
When I was 7.
And did you say you were in charge of 5,000 witches?
Over 7.
Over 7,000 witches.
Over 7,000. And I was made that as a 7 years, when I was 7 years. So, and, when you are made territorial, leader in the territory, your first assignment is to destroy the one you're taking over from.
Wow.
So you have to destroy and kill all his priests and his witches, destroy everything, even him, for you to do that.
So was that like your first act of murder, so to speak?
Yes, the first assignment, because the king of darkness is about destroying. The devil came to kill, destroy, and rob. So you destroy others for you to reign. So the one who is in charge knows if another one is coming, they're coming to fight and kill. So there's that destroying. So I take over the territories, and they say this. I remember they would say, this boy is wicked. Others, like they had that human side of them, like pity and love, though they were in witchcraft. But now me, who didn't have any emotion, like raised without emotion, raised without a family, raised in bitterness, raised in anger, in rage, in all kind of hatred. So I could not feel anything like pity, like mercy and what.
So when you killed them, you did it by spiritual movement, obviously attacking them in dreams, sicknesses, all sort of things, and they knew they were in a battle with you,
with me, because now they know another prince is rising, has to destroy the others. So they attack, you attack, and then if you are able to destroy them, let them, when they die, then you take over the territory. So I took that territory for only 2 years. After 2 years, I had finished my assignment, and then I am made to be a trainer
of other witches,
or whoever wants to be trained.
Trained in anything,
in occultism, in astral projections, in what.
So by this time you're 9.
I'm 9. So I'm now beginning to be a trainer. As I said, that my mother, though she had that mental problem, she kept thinking that she can break this and I become a normal child. By the way, I'm also going to school at the same time.
You were schooling?
Yes.
Well, how are you relating to all the other children? Because you said earlier that no one wanted to play with you.
Yes, but my mother took me to school. And I remember most of my teachers in the earlier years, I could be in school like thrice or 4 times in a term. Wow. But surprisingly, all my school up to university, I was always the best. But I was not attending classes. I could not attend classes, but I knew like I could go and write my exams and be the best without attending classes.
Wow.
And I can't tell how. So I could, as a child, I want to be, there's a part of me already that longed to be a child. Even when I grew up and I became born again, I found that I find so attached to children than there's like a baby in me still longing to be a child, because I missed that as a child. I missed that as a baby. I didn't have that love. So it's like there's a part of me a part of my life that was skipped. And it's not only me. I believe that I've found many people in my ministry of deliverance that their child was robbed of.
Their childhood was robbed from them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know some people watching right now, that may be one of the issues you're dealing with, that your child, a part of you was trapped as a child. They mean that
By
you,
rape, by
abuse,
trauma,
by trauma, exposure to witchcraft,
Yes.
death, accidents, and all this. And when your child is taken away from, robbed from you, you may find it hard to function in an adulthood unless the Lord can trace back the moment of the trauma, the moment of the abuse, and move and carry you through to bring to a place of healing. Now, for me, my childhood had taken away. Though, as I was growing up, I want to relate with people. I wanted to be, there's a part of me that longed, I could look at children and want to be like them. But then, if I relate with them, then the powers in me could maybe destroy them.
And wait, were these powers out of your control?
Yes, they're out of my control.
Really?
Yeah. So I didn't have,
You show up and things just happen.
and just happened.
Give us examples like, because in in your book, you were saying something about you looked at someone and they fell over and they
And died. I can look at a child like in school and I feel like the child just falls down and collapses and faints. Or I look at a teacher. I remember one time I was in like early years, like after like kindergarten, I looked at the teacher. Maybe she shouted at me and she became blind.
What? Did she know that that was you that did that to her?
Yes. Because I think she tried to find out and say, you can. So she came to me and said, can you help me get back my sight? I said, okay, you will. Then the next day she was seeing. And so she told everyone in the school then that they feared to send me out of the school because they didn't know what will happen to the school. Now, that's the early years. So these forces were in me, out of my control. I didn't do them by my will. Because remember, as a 3-year-old, you're trapped in a cave. So it's as if your will is blocked. You are taken, something has taken over your life. And I know there are people even who today, they have not recovered their will. If they were involved in the occult, in witchcraft, in abuse, in all these, they may have been trapped. That's why they need inner healing. They need deliverance. They need now someone to walk them the journey of healing. You know, people can hear the gospel, but there must be a ministry that facilitates the healing of the soul, especially the people that were trapped, especially in childhood. There's what they call the sexual abuse, the ritual sexual abuse. And because when I was there, most of these businessmen, the musicians, the celebrities could come for powers. And the way to get the powers, say, go and find a young child, a virgin, and rape her, sexually rape her, maybe 7. Like they're going to have a show. And say, for that show to be successful, find a guy.
They're going to have a what?
Like a show, like a music show.
Music show, right, okay.
A concert.
A concert, yes.
And they come for power and said, for that power, you need to find girls, rape them, sexually abuse them.
And as a child, in those early years, you were giving some of these instructions to some of these celebrities.
To celebrities, to politicians, to businessmen, and all this for spiritual powers.
And so when they do that act, they're also initiating that child. So there are people that have experienced some of these horrific acts and don't even know that they were initiated through those acts.
They don't know. They find that a part of them was robbed and taken away. And some of them, like this, for example, let me give an example. A musician, a celebrity, who gathers young girls around himself to use them every time before he goes for a concert. So those girls, they have been initiated. And then they go to their friends in schools and initiate also their friends and maybe relatives, like their brothers, their sisters, and expose them to the powers of darkness.
What are fruits that we see in the life of a person that helps us to know that there's been an initiation?
Isolation, rebellion, addiction, anger.
Is normally any manifestation of actual witchcraft activities in their lives?
Yeah.
Known or unknown to them, or maybe consciously or subconsciously?
Known or unknown, because some of them, they receive what they call guardians. A voice takes over their lives, and they have like a multiple personality.
Multiple personalities.
It's like another person. You see like young people who like suddenly they call themselves someone else. Say, I'm so and so. And you can discover that now another being is in charge of this person. So that is the initiation of what is being done. But let me we go back to the story.
Let's go back to okay. So back to the time. You're 9 years old now.
Yeah.
And you've been promoted after you did all the bad stuff you did. And so what happens after you're not?
So,
your mom is trying to find people to help you.
The way it takes me to help, I destroy them. You know, and I'm wondering why. Because if I was in the same kingdom like them, why was I destroying them? And what was that which was destroying them? Was it the enemy destroying the enemy, or it was God destroying the enemy?
And you were not doing this consciously.
Not consciously. So even today I'm saying, why was that? Was the Lord involved in my life, or was something else? So when I was 12, that's when the story I said about
your mom taking you to Tanzania, somewhere in Tanzania, to a witch that was going to break the covenant, the marriage covenant that your mom believed was what's controlling you because you wanted you to be a normal child. So on your way to that witch is when she told you the story of your birth.
So
okay.
On my way to there, so she told me the story of how I was conceived, what happened in conception. To her, like, maybe she was trying to convince me to say, please, let's seek help. And I could see she was begging. A lot of things happened during that journey. I could stir up the ocean, then different things. Then she could beg, please don't, please don't. So we traveled to this place in Pemba. When we arrived there, I tried to attack that man as a child. And the man begged. I remember he took me and said, yeah, man, I am old. I've finished my work. Don't waste your power on me. So like he begged, and I did not attack him. And she told my mother, she said, woman, no witchcraft, no diviner, no witch can help this boy. If you need him to be helped, take him. That man was called Sultan. He was a Muslim. Said, take him to the church.
Wow.
And that's a witch. Tell my mother, take him to the church. No one can help him. And my mother said, no, you know what? And the man told my mother, now let me show you that no one can help him. So he built a hut. A hut? Like built with mud and what? And put me in the hut and covered with grass and set it on fire. My mother was crying. My son said, no, you wait. So when the fire died, I was not in the hut, in that small house. My mother said, what happened? Then he told her, he's back home. You go home. He has returned home. Not using now the ship, not using the car, and now I projected back home.
Now that's something you've already been doing before then.
Now that one I knew how to do it. I began that at the age of 5, 6. So I left the hut, traveled back home, because from the age of 6 I could do astral travels, travel from different places without using natural means. So that man tells my mom, take him to the church. So she comes home, finds me back home normal, and say, why did you do this? So she gets me and takes me to the bishop who conducted the wedding.
Oh.
Because that's the church she knew.
This is the bishop who conducted the wedding, marrying you to a 60-year-old witch, and then your mom takes you back to the same bishop.
To say, she tells that bishop, about me, what I've been doing, and he says, yes, I've been hearing about him, but I think we can help him. Now I realized later he accepted me, not to, because now it was like put me in school, in the seminary, like join like the seminarian to be a priest. But what he wanted was to investigate these powers. So he puts me in the school, in a seminary, and he is interested. I remember he could call priests and bishops to just sit around me and like investigate and ask me questions, interview me about the powers, about the forces, and
Wait, I'm trying to understand. When you say they took you to, so you were in seminary at 12.
At 12.
And what, were you learning the Bible? Were you, so what kind of,
I'm supposed to be like in a normal school because early of the seminary, you're like in a normal secondary school.
okay, a normal secondary school, but it's called a seminary, but it's run by what, the church in Corpus. Yeah. Okay.
So I am there, and I thought I was now going to be like a student, go learn about the Bible, learn about God, and become a priest. I realize now
They were just interested in your power.
they're just interested in not even to educate me. They're interested in the powers. So most of the time I am there from the age of 12. That year I'm there. I am living in the same house with a priest.
The priest.
And every night they come with books, with what to ask me about the spirit world. So they ask me this and that and that. And I enjoy it. I enjoy being in charge. All my life, I always enjoy like to be in charge, to control others. Like there was a deficit in me, and so I'm telling them all the powers. They are writing this, they are like researchers. They are sitting around me.
And this is going on for what? Years?
For years, for a year.
So in all that time, you didn't learn anything about Jesus, about scriptures, and you were in a Christian environment, in quotes.
Yes.
That's really
But
sad.
I'm not learning about God. I'm learning. I'm not learning.
You're teaching them.
They're teaching from me. So I remember the end of the year, this bishop and another priest, they told me, we have a scholarship for you. We are going to send you to Europe for training. And so in me, I thought, okay, I needed, but they told me they needed the consent of my father. So my father, that's the first time I'm seeing my father. He came to the school to sign the papers, sign my documentation, because I was now going to be moved from Uganda to go to Europe.
And so with Bavin, so you're 16 now.
No. I'm 13.
You're still 13. Oh, you said 4 years later.
No,
Okay.
2 years.
2 years later. So, okay.
So I'm 13, and now they tell me you have a scholarship to go and study in Europe. Now, for the sake of the sensitivity of this, I may not mention
Where?
where. But
Can you tell us the country?
I was in Italy.
In Italy, okay.
In Italy. So I'm sent to Italy for
At 13.
at 13.
Okay.
And I'm going without my mother. I'm going alone with a group of priests. I remember the two priests had come from Italy. They were sent from Italy to come and investigate, interview me, and make a recommendation. So they asked me about the spirit world, about this, about powers, about systems. And they're like, wow, how did you know all this? You've never gone to school. You've never gone to a theology or to any university, but you know all the things about the spirit realm, about history, about what. How? So they say, oh, we need to go with you. So they carried me. Now I leave.
So the priest that came from Italy to investigate first, and then they took you with them.
I go with them, and they come, they pick me up. We go through Rwanda. They picked another girl there. I don't know why, who had also strange powers. So we fly from Rwanda now we go through France. We stay there for some time. And that's when I discovered that now I have been being moved from the African witchcraft, the crude witchcraft. Now I'm being initiated into the occult.
Okay, because you said that in the beginning that there's a difference between witchcraft and the occult. Can you just give us a basic definition of what's the difference?
The occult is a system. Actually, it's Satanism, the alliance of those that subscribe to Satan. Most witchcraft is about people's traditions and cultures, the things they do and what they learn. But now this one is literally the worship of
Satan
as a figure. There, in witchcraft, about the spirits and the powers. But now then it's like a system, a religion. So when I went there, I'm put in a religious house where what happened there is the worst experience I went through. Because to break my will a second time, I have to be exposed to death and sexual abuse. So I am trained in the occult, but for the 5 years from 13 to 17, 18, almost every day I am molested and sexual abused.
Okay, this part you didn't share in the 2017 testimony I heard. What?
So by men, by priests. So they have to do that on me. I've written this in my book. That's the most, because they want to pluck out every aspect of me and then use
Wait,
me
you're saying every day?
almost every
Almost every day
for 5 years.
5 years.
So you during the day you are like what they call the altar boys. You are like put on the
And this is in a religious Christian, in quotes, environment.
environment. So during the day you are like a trainee being trained to be a priest. So you put on the gown, you attend mass, you do all this. Now when you go back to the house, what you call the brother's house, you are molested as a boy by these men. They abuse you, they do all kind of things to break you completely.
So my question is, with all the powers you had, could you not use it against them?
Not.
You could not. How come?
Because Satan cannot destroy Satan.
But then you could use the powers to destroy other witches
Who are lower than these ones.
Oh, were these in a higher ranking?
These are in a higher ranking. Because now it's all about the witchcraft and what it's about now, the system, the sorcery system, which rules the world. I may say, which controls all the powers of the world. It's more not just a local witch somewhere. It's now a satanic system that controls the world.
Wow. Okay. So that went on for all these years. And by the time you're what, 17?
17, 18, towards 18.
Towards 18, 19. What happened at that point when you finished?
Actually, my finishing is during those abuses and many years, I also got a mental breakdown. And they took me to a psychiatric hospital for 6 months and then pumped drugs.
This was in Italy.
Yeah, and psychotic drugs every day in that I may be completely mad, that I never recover. It's like, well, like now they're going to use your body, but you're not in your senses. So the 6 months I'm in this hospital, like a psychiatric hospital, they are trying to access information without my will. Like they sedate you and begin to investigate, ask you questions. So they're using you to access information, but you're not but the pain you go through, because like when they put you in these drugs, like the antipsychotic drugs, they sedate you, and then also they are molesting you in that state, sexually molesting and abusing you in the hospital. And so all that we go, they are crushing your soul in order to use your soul to get information that they cannot access. So that's what happened for me all those years, the mental breakdown. So then after the 6 months in that hospital, in the mental hospital, they realized they had not broken my will completely.
So now I'm a bit confused. Why are they trying to? Because you're already giving them information, right? So what were they of the opinion you were holding some things back they wanted, or what? I'm trying.
What I'm still not saying that sometime I've written this in my book. Sometime they discovered that there's a part of me they could not access. It's as if God was involved and sealed a part of my life that they knew there's something I know, but they could not access it. So to do that, they had to molest me, abuse me, sedate me, drugs, put me on drugs and different things in order to break me, because there's a part they could say like, we have had different people who have been used, but this one is a bit blocked somewhere. What I'm trying to say that God, in his power, in his ability, preserved me even when I didn't know him. There's a part of me that he kept sealed, because if they had accessed that, maybe it would have been hard for me to come out.
Yeah.
So where are we?
So we're towards 17, 18. You're coming towards the end of your time in this place. Oh yeah, you're in the hospital. They're trying to break you some more with all these drugs and all these horrible things going on.
Yeah. So I'm there. So they tried to break me and they could not. So they decided to bring me back home.
To Uganda.
To Uganda. Now in that state. So I return home and I go by like a normal child, a normal young man, like for 6 months and then the two priests come back to Uganda to now
From Italy.
From Italy again to when they came to me, now they came with love. Remember the first time this man came to me, he said, I want to be your father. And that is what opened me up. Now, when he said, I want to be your father, I love you as a father, I am your father. The moment he said, I want to be your father, now I had to reveal whatever. Like I opened up all my senses, and then because I had opened up, so he takes me back And then that's when he's in there initiating me as a guardian master, because I have openly accepted what they want.
So it takes you back to it.
Now, this time willfully. Because remember, before I was deceived. When I was young, I was taken by my mother. When I was taken to Italy, I went not knowing. So they could not break my will. So they bring me back. He comes to me this time and then he says, I want to be a father. I remember Mr. Father. I want to love you. So he came with love. And for the first time, I felt accepted, loved, accepted. And now, because he said, I want to be I want to love you. I want to be this to you. I want to do this. You know, you're good man. So I open up to him. Now he's embracing me as a father, and I'm the baby in me is longing for a father. So when he texts me, then he says, oh, you know what? Okay, now we're not forcing you. You're going to be a guardian master.
So what does that mean in comparison to what you'd been before? Was this obviously sounds like a higher
this is a higher level, but also now you are you're not a servant. You now appear with them. Like now you've come into the ruling circle to decide. So the time you're going to make your guardian master, you return to Africa, because there are always like 5 in the entire continent. You're going to be part of this council of the guardian masters, and you're going to do our work, our system. You're not going to be in the witchcraft. You're going to be normal. You're going to go to university. You're going to have money. You're going to have an organization. You're going to work with leaders in the nation. You're going to work with them. So like you're going to be like a representative of this system in your country, but in the region. In the region.
It says there's only about 5 in the whole of Africa.
So I'm in charge of the Great Lakes region, another in charge of the Southern Africa, another in the Western, another in Northern, another in Sub-Saharan, all these regions. So when they told me, okay, now you're not going to be a slave or a servant. Now you're one of us. You're a leader. You're a great man, and all this. So they ordained me as a guardian master of that system. And they sent me back to Uganda to go and identify 5,000 young people and recruit them. Now, the young people was to find the young people in universities. So I was to go and become a student in the university and identify bright students in medicine, in law, in education, and recruit them in Satanism from the university. So by the time they finish university, they're already recruited. So they go in the marketplace already. For example, this is a doctor, a surgeon, a lawyer, teacher.
Or they're agents, because they've already recruited and initiated.
But initiated, very educated, so you cannot know. Like you can't say this doctor is a witch or this lawyer is an agent of witchcraft and all this. So my work was to return to Uganda, go to the university, become a student there, identify such students, sponsor them, give them all they need, give them the best education, send them to different universities in the world, return to Uganda and take over the marketplace. So that was my work. Then another work was identify the churches, the men of God who are still not compromised, break their powers, break their marriages, break their businesses, break their churches, destroy them, because they were a threat.
The specific aim was men of God.
Yes, men of God. Attack them, break their marriages, break their businesses, scatter them. And specific ones, like this one, like this one, like this one, like especially men who were not compromised, but also I've observed that men who were committed to prayer, not preaching prayer. Well, most of my attacks were on prayer ministries, churches that were praying, the churches where we were calling people to fast, to repentance, to holiness. So my work was raise these young people, young girls and young boys. While you're raising them, you're training them also to break churches, to defile men of God, to go into the churches.
Sexual
immorality.
Yes.
Take them in there. So kill the fire, because as long as you've killed the fire of prayer, then we can control a territory. So I was at the university and I'm doing that, getting young people. How do I get them? Through parties, orgies, organized concerts.
Orgies.
Yeah. Organized concerts, buy them what they need, give them parties and what, drink, give them drugs. And because most of, like in my country, most people are poor. So when a child comes from a poor family, when you bring them like a car, I'm buying you a car, I'm buying you an apartment to live there, you can use them whatever you want.
You were doing all this because you were getting all the money from, I guess, your position?
Yeah, because I remember at that time, my annual budget was like between $500,000 and $600,000
A year?
a year.
You're talking about what, in the 90s?
No, yeah, that's late 90s. That's 96, 97, 98. So that's the money I was getting because through I could get all the money, but also that could bring the money. People in government, money launderers, and all could bring money to me because that's the only way they can stay in do their trade if they submit to me. The drug, the dealers, and what they could not, because if they could be arrested by police, but the police now would be part of my system, part of my people. So for them to do all that, they had to bring money. So I had access to money, to powers, to people in authority. So I could have all the means to defile, to deceive, target the young people, especially the bright ones who are good and different. So there's this child who is good, he's bright, he's clever, but has no money. He's coming from a poor family. So you say,
money is a way to entice
I'll pay your tuition, I'll pay your money, I'll get you this, and then they get so excited. Then later, after they are trapped into the money, into the cars, and say, okay, by the way, what you've been getting comes from this one. Now you need to be initiated. And some of them could not say no. You see?
And if they said no,
some of them die or get mad because they've already been initiated without them even
by accepting the money.
By accepting the money, by accepting the sins and all the kind of immorality they get involved in. But also some of them could create scandals around them. Like if you're a lecturer and you create a scandal around you that, okay, they trap you with a girl, then they film you, and they get the scandal into the papers. And then
lose your job.
At the lowest, you're losing your job. So we come with a solution. We can stop this. We can help you get back your job, stop the media house from publishing your story. So if you can do what you want.
So now you're, I guess, in your 20s now doing this.
Yeah.
And you're like on the campus, everyone knows your name, you're feared by everyone, you're openly a Satanist, people are scared of you.
Now I'm not hiding it. Now I'm doing Satanism and occultism publicly.
On the campus? What campus?
Makerere University.
Wow.
So I'm doing it on different campuses. I'm organizing parties, I'm organizing all these night parties and whatnot, and I'm doing it public because I had the money, I had the means that I could bring in a musician and international celebrities to come and have a concert and then pay for everything. So like I was doing public a little bit.
So this kept going on for a while, and then let's transition to the moment where things started to shift. So can you, or is there other things you want to fill in the gap?
That's what
okay.
So while I'm doing that, I'm enjoying it, and actually I'm progressing well. Then in the year 1999, early 19, it was around April, I think, things were not working well. I felt like we are losing ground.
When you say we, you mean the grandmasters, the occultic, satanic kind of world?
You see the confusion. Now, in 1996, I was told with my people to move away from Uganda and stay away for some time.
Is this the one you told us earlier about the 70 days? This is a different one. Okay.
Now, what happened? A group of people, a man of God, Apostle John Malindi, and his team had gone into a prayer time for a longer time, maybe more than a year of prayer and fasting. And they had taken over the whole country and we could not operate there. So I was told, please move out until we get a strategy to disarm him and put his powers low so that for you to operate. So he had raised a prayer in the nation, and that prayer had cast completely away all the altars of the kingdom of darkness.
Wow. This was in 96.
96.
By the way, in case you didn't catch the name, it's John Mulindy.
Yes.
And we know him here as well because he ran a powerful prayer ministry, or he still runs a powerful prayer
He
ministry.
had completely wiped out
The altars.
the altars. Completely. Because I remember I was told, please don't operate. Cease every action and stay away. So when we returned later in 1997, 98, things were not easy, but we're now their ministry. We had infiltrated their ministry, his ministry, and broken the wall around him because his strength was about the protection around him. The people, not him as a man. Now, because of the people who were praying around him,
Praying for him.
praying for him, he could ascend in the spirit and become like an authority. So
I feel that. That's so strong.
he could speak one word and you hear it echo for days. So by that time, we had to get all his tapes, listen to them,
You had to listen to his tapes.
and identify, why is this man so powerful, so strong? Well, every word he says, you feel like causes a vibration in the spirit. So like you could literally be listening to his tape, but you're like, I don't know if we shall finish it. Now we're in the occult. We are listening. We're trying to map his life. Then we are mapping his family, his background, then realize the people around him. That every time he begins to preach, he's not the one preaching. They are the one preaching through him because he is connected in them. They've prayed so much for him. They prayed so much around him that he picks whatever is in them. And when he utters,
It amplifies.
amplifies it.
Yeah,
That's why, like, the power of agreement. So, like, the whole team around him, they're so much in agreement that when he stands to speak, it's as if they're all of them speaking in one voice. So, and because of that, even if he prays or just say one word, it could be like a whole force and energy that goes through the entire realm. So he was in charge of the realm. Not even saying I bind, I break. No.
He didn't have to say that.
No. Actually, he didn't. All it was, sometimes he teaches. Sometimes it could be just teaching the Bible, sitting with the people.
And what you're talking about is not that he was teaching with shouting, because John Mullin is a very calm teacher, but the words that carry so much weight in the spirit.
He could teach a Bible, like a truth, and then the people pick it. And then you could see like the whole atmosphere has been changed because of what he's just talking to the people. Like I'm having conversation with you. And as I will talk, the entire realm is charged. And now he is a principality over the nation. Him as a man, because of the network, because of the wall around him.
Now, they had been building that for a long time before they got to that place.
So, by the people that were assigned, I was not among them. The people were assigned to go were not to attack him, but to break the wall. To identify the thing that could cause them to be offended.
Identify things that could cause people to be offended
around
him.
And then withdraw their protection, their prayer around him. Like, now,
Wait, get people offended or stir up circumstances that cause people to be offended so that they withdraw their part in the wall. And there's a break or a breach, and then you can access.
And so this man is in the center, and now the wall is breaking. People are leaving. People are being taken away. And I want to say this to people that are watching this, that sometimes the man of God has given you, he has the authority, but his authority depends on you who are around him, who are building. It's about the hedge around him. And if that hedge is broken and before even they reach him, he has lost his position. Because in the realm of the spirit, it's about positions. Even we have positions of intercession. As an intercessor, you gain a position in the spirit to be a territorial intercessor. But that position, to remain there, to maintain that position, there must be people around you who God has called and assigned to be gatekeepers and watchmen, to watch over your life, to see that the enemy cannot reach you.
And powerful.
Because for you, for example, you're leading, God has given you the call and the vision. But there are those that must build the walls around you. Yeah. They must surround you. And when the enemy comes, must break these walls. And that's what happened to to this man of God, that the walls were broken. And when the walls were broken, what happened? So his authority.
Yeah, the influence in the nation has to drop.
He has not sinned. He's not fallen in sin. The enemy has not even attacked him personally, but his influence has been low.
So was the result of that being the words that he was teaching did not carry the same level of weight. And it wasn't that his personal prayer life had gone down, just the breach around him broken. Oh my goodness, Lord have mercy.
Because, when Jesus said, if 12 of you on earth agree, so the power is, you speak the same words, but now they don't carry the same power. Like we call them power words. Like you can say Jesus, and that happens. Another one says Jesus, and miracles happen. The same word, but from a different place. So this meant the people around you, they hope that, like, they become a wall around your consecration. You see? And they know our assignment is not to compete with a man. Our assignment is to guard him. And God has assigned us this responsibility. And